Hello everyone, this is Jason Merkle from HobbyZone Hobby, and we're out at the flying field today to talk about what I believe is quite possibly the best RC trainer aircraft that there's ever been. It is the perfect airplane to learn to fly with if you're a first-time RC pilot, you're a beginner RC pilot. The reason we call it a trainer is for exactly that reason. It can train you in all the things that you need to know to learn how to fly radio-controlled aircraft, and then to ultimately advance into more complex and more capable models down the road. That said, one of the reasons I really love this airplane is that not only is it a great trainer, it's perfect if you've never learned how to fly before, but at the same time, even an experienced pilot, I've been flying for over 30 years now. I take one of these with me almost everywhere that I go. It's my warm-up airplane. It's the airplane that I like to fly if it's a little bit too windy outside. But really for me, it's also the fact that I could even let anyone who's never flown airplanes before fly it. With a flip of a switch, I can put it into a mode that makes it so easy to fly that pretty much anyone with little coaching, or sometimes even with no coaching at all, can actually get the airplane in the air, fly it around, and ultimately get it onto the ground as well. But what's also cool about it is the fact that there is an experienced flight mode, and in that flight mode, there's no limitations. I can do aerobatics with it, fly it upside down, I can do knife edge, I can do loops, I can do rolls, all of which we show in some of the videos that we're going to link down below. And the fact that all of that can be done with one airplane is pretty phenomenal. So although it is a trainer aircraft, a lot of people think, well, I'll buy that, I'll learn to fly with it, and then I'll move on. You don't necessarily have to. This is a great airplane to keep around all the time because it just flies so darn good. And if you Google it, look at the reviews, if you go on Facebook, look at all the private groups for this particular model, there are so many fans of this airplane that not only learn to fly with it, but have advanced their skills with it, and still decades later have one in their hangar because it is just a phenomenal aircraft. We originally released this in 2019. It's now 2026, and we've updated it a few times along the way. The most recent updates that we had, we did actually improve the reinforcement here in the nose to make that more durable. The landing gear, the nose landing gear in particular, being more durable than the earlier versions. So if you do happen to crash on the nose and split the nose open, it is more durable. It holds together better. It's a little bit easier to repair. We also added a provision here for the water rudder for the optional float set, which is something that's very exciting to me. We're not showing it today because we're out at a flying field with grass and with the runway, but the optional float set is phenomenal. So you can fly off of water. The water rudder is great because it helps for the steering in the water. It works extraordinarily well. Some of the best engineered, some of the nicest looking floats that I've ever used on any aircraft. A very, very good float flying airplane. And then what we've done now here in 2026 is we've made another slight update to the model, not necessarily to the airplane itself as much. We did go ahead and switch to a new programming in the receiver. So both versions, the Bind and Fly basic version, the RTF basic version, we'll talk about the differences in those here a little bit, but ultimately they come with an AR631 Plus receiver. The benefit of this new Plus model receiver is that we now have something called a smart transmitter file inside. So down the road, if you end up upgrading your radio from the DXS that comes with the RTF basic version, if you buy the Bind and Fly basic version, any transmitter that you use, which is an NX series or an IX series transmitter, when you bind it to the airplane, it'll send all the settings for the airplane back to the transmitter, which may not sound like a big deal, but when it comes to a trainer aircraft like this that has 3 different flight modes plus panic recovery mode, if you don't set up your transmitter properly with the correct mixes, you won't get it to function properly. It'll be stuck in panic mode. A lot of experienced guys have bought these in Bind and Fly basic versions, taken it to the field, tried to fly it, and only to find that it's stuck in that panic mode. And it's because they didn't follow the instructions, they didn't program their transmitter appropriately, and now the STF handles that for you. So we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a bit as well. But the other exciting thing is the fact that now the RTF basic version includes a full copy of Real Flight Trainer Edition RC Flight Simulator. This is by far the #1 best tool that you can use to learn how to fly more quickly, crash less, to become a better pilot, be more capable in less time than ever before. And this, again, is included in the box with the RTF basic version. So it's a full copy of the Trainer Edition. The Trainer Edition software we did update a few years ago. It includes all of our trainer aircraft. The AeroScout is on there, so you can fly exactly this airplane. All of the HobbyZone, or most of the HobbyZone, and E-Flight, and also Blade helicopter trainer models are on there. Then what's really cool is there's unlockable content. So after you fly for 2 hours, you unlock some of the next step airplanes, the more advanced airplanes, the more advanced helicopters. You also unlock a few more fields. Then after 4 hours of flying, you unlock even more airplanes, even more fields, including float variants, and the option to fly from water. So that's a really, really great way to advance your skills. It gives you the incentive to put that 2 hours of flight time in, put that 4 hours of flight time in. And I'll tell you, even just spending 10 minutes on this simulator can make a huge difference. 1 hour makes a night and day difference. This is, again, the best tool that you can possibly use. It does require a PC computer with Windows 10 or 11. Unfortunately, it doesn't run on Mac at this point. We are working on that, guys. That'll hopefully be something we release down the road. But in the meantime, you do need a PC computer. It can just be a basic laptop. Basically, any laptop that you can buy now with Windows 10 or 11 already installed will run this. You don't need a gaming laptop. You don't need anything with a ton of performance, a ton of capabilities. Again, basically a laptop that you can pick up on sale for a couple $100 will take care of it for you. We do have a QR code on here that you can scan, which will take you to a page, which will show you some of our recommended options for computers that are in, the $300, $400, $500 price range. Even if you don't already have a PC laptop, it is worth spending that extra money. And I know some people will say, well, wow, that computer costs almost as much as that airplane, or a little more than that. But I'm telling you, it is an invaluable tool. Real flight is not only good for learning to fly, it will teach you how to fly aerobatics. It'll teach you to fly more advanced models. You can even upgrade this to the Evolution, which is the full version of real flight that has every possible aircraft you can imagine. It has jets, it has float planes, it has multi-rotors, it has VTOL aircraft. It's incredible what you can do with that simulator. And then something else that we did with the Ready to Fly basic version, we give you the real flight in the box. We also updated the DXS transmitter that comes with it, so it now has a USB-C port on the back. So you use this transmitter with the included USB-C cable, and now you plug that into the computer, and that allows you to run that included copy of real flight. So the RTF basic version is an excellent value. It does cost more than the Bind to Fly basic version. The only difference is the Ready to Fly basic version includes this transmitter, but it now also includes this copy of real flight. So that's a $40 value, $39.99 value, plus you have the transmitter itself. It is a definite better buy if you're a new first-time pilot, you don't already have a transmitter. You should definitely buy the RTF basic version. So you can also buy the Bind to Fly basic version, which is basically just the airframe with the receiver already installed. It doesn't have the transmitter. It doesn't come with the copy of real flight, but then you can bind it to an existing Spectrum transmitter you may already have, or you may say, hey, I'm really serious about the hobby. I want to advance right from the start to a more capable transmitter that I won't outgrow. The NX8 Plus here is a great choice. This is my personal favorite, top recommendation. This has all the bells and whistles. It's now with the Plus version, a 20-channel transmitter. I can almost guarantee very few, if anyone, will ever outgrow this transmitter. It can fly almost all the HobbyZone E-Flight, Hangar 9 aircraft that we sell at Horizon Hobby, and even well beyond that too. A lower cost option, if you really like especially the look of it, is the NX7E Plus. It's a 14-channel transmitter now. The downside of this one is it doesn't have the voice output that the NX8 Plus does have. So I do prefer that because the voice can speak telemetry to you. It can speak other alerts to you. That's a really nice touch. It does cost a bit more, but there's some other creature comforts. It has a little bit nicer case, some rubber grips. It does have a few more features that the NX7E Plus doesn't have. So I strongly recommend going to the NX8 Plus if you're looking for an upgrade transmitter after the RTF basic version, or if you're buying the Bind to Fly basic and you want a better transmitter right from the get-go. But that said, the RTF basic does include this DXS transmitter. And what's exciting about this is not just a one and done transmitter. I see people say things like that, oh, you got to get rid of that. It's no good. It's a great transmitter. It's a full range transmitter, which means that it has all the range output that these transmitters do. But at the same time, you can fly other models with it too. So if you advance from the AeroScout and you want to get into, say, Warbirds, you can use this transmitter to fly any of our next step skill level 2 airplanes. They are all compatible with this transmitter. That includes the very popular E-Flight P-51 Mustang 1 meter, the T-28 Trojan 1.1 meter. Both of those are great if you want to ultimately get into Warbirds. You can use this transmitter. You can even use the 3-cell 2200 that you used to fly this airplane to fly those exact same airplanes. So the same transmitter, same battery can be used for those airplanes as well. Let's say you want to advance into EDF jets. The E-Flight Habu SS 50mm, you can use this transmitter, you can use this battery to fly it. Pretty phenomenal. And then on top of that, you'll also see a lot of people recommend our very popular Timber series airplanes, the 1.2 meter Timber X, but also then the 1.5 meter Turbo Timber or the 10th anniversary Timber. Those are all great models. You can fly with this transmitter, you can fly it with this battery. So again, you will not necessarily be one and done with this transmitter or one and done with this battery. So that's a really exciting point to make. I really like this transmitter. It's a great transmitter. I fly mine with this transmitter all the time. It's just easy. I take it with me everywhere I go. I don't have to worry about putting wear and tear on my nicer transmitter. I can let anybody handle this, no problem. The other benefit is with the RTF basic version, you get to now choose which battery and charger that you purchase separately to finish it. So in the past, we used to sell what we call RTF, just ready to fly. That included everything in the box, the transmitter, the airplane, the battery, the charger. We now have pulled out the battery and charger so you can decide, do I want to go very simple? And if you do, you can go with what we sell as a Spectrum Power Stage Bundle, which is a 3-cell 2200 30C G2 LiPo with this very simple S120 USB-C charger. You can power this from pretty much any USB source in your car, at home, your phone charger. All of those things will work to power this. The benefit of this package is it's very low cost. It gets you in very easy, very low cost. I would also recommend buying a few extra batteries. You're really going to want to have probably at least 3 batteries is probably a sweet spot, 4, even 5 batteries. The one downside of this charger though is it's a bit slow. Depending on your input power source, it may take upwards of an hour to 2 hours to charge each battery. So for that reason, right from the get-go, or maybe after you start with this charger, you may want to upgrade to something like the very popular Spectrum S155 smart charger here. This is an AC charger, so you can power from pretty much any AC power source. It will charge that battery considerably faster. You can charge that battery in as little as 15 to 20 minutes with this charger. So that's a very, very popular addition. We have the 2-port S2100, also the S2200 chargers. We'll link to those in the description down below. We also have now this very recently released 4-port charger, so you can charge 4 batteries at one time, which is pretty phenomenal. This is the S450 charger, really capable, very, very powerful. But again, ultimately, you're going to want to have a couple of batteries, probably even a couple of chargers, unless you get a multi-part charger. That way you can charge multiple batteries at home before you go to the field. You can even recharge while you're at the field. Quick point on the batteries. The 3S 1300 milliamp battery that I show here, this is the lowest and smallest recommended battery for the airplane. It does work very well, but that said, most people, myself included, we prefer the higher capacity 3S 2200 milliamp battery. So we have a little bit more power, but also a lot more flight time with this battery. It does have a little bit more weight to it. You kind of feel that, but that's actually not a bad thing, especially if you're flying a little bit of wind, which we're going to talk about in more detail here in a minute. But ultimately, I strongly recommend getting these 3-cell 2200s. Get a couple of those if you can. All right, so now that we've talked about the airplane, we talked about the transmitter options, we talked about the battery and charger options as well, I'd like to talk a little bit more about what the airplane offers. So what's great about it is the fact that it comes out of the box with the factory installed Spectrum AR631 Plus receiver. That receiver is equipped with our full safe technology. So we have variations of our safe technology. We have Safe Select, which is what we put in our more complex airplanes. Safe Select basically means you have the choice to use it or not. You can turn it on or off. It just has 2 flight modes. You basically have safe beginner mode, or you have AS3X experienced mode. Our trainer aircraft like this, we actually have 3 flight modes built in, and all of these transmitters have the proper switch on them. I'll show you the DXS that comes with the Ready to Fly basic version. This switch back here is in the 0 position, that's beginner. In the number 1 position in the middle, that's the intermediate flight mode. In the 3rd position, which is the 2 position here on the label, this is the experienced flight mode. In this flight mode, there's no limitations. Safe is basically turned off. We have AS3X, which is stabilization to smooth things out with gyros, but you can do all the aerobatics as you do with more complex airplanes in that flight mode, which is really cool, which is why experienced guys like me love the airplane so much. But starting in the beginner mode, if you're a first-time pilot, a new pilot, a low-time pilot, this is where you start. The benefit of this mode is that when you move the stick all the way to one side, the airplane will roll, but then stop. It has what we call bank angle limits. When you let go of the stick, it goes back to level. So it has self-leveling and angle limits, bank angle limits, and also pitch angle limits. The benefit of those is you can't get the airplane upside down. Even if you hold the stick all the way over, it stops. It doesn't allow you to get upside down, ultimately out of control and crash. And again, when you let go of the stick, it goes right back to level. That makes it very easy to take off, very easy to fly around, and much easier to land. There are some limitations. Of course, you can't turn quite as tight as you could if you had no limitations, but it's still a very easy way to learn to fly, especially if you're learning on your own. If you are learning with the help of an instructor, you may advance past that very quickly, which is our goal. We don't want you to fly in the beginner mode all the time if you can avoid it. The next step is the intermediate mode. So when the switch is in the middle position, same thing. When you move the stick all the way over to one side, for example, the ailerons here, to roll it to the right, it'll roll and it has a higher bank angle limit than in the beginner mode. So now instead of stopping, roughly 45 degrees, it'll go about 60 degrees. So you can turn tighter. You can maneuver more aggressively. But the difference is in intermediate mode, it does not self-level. So you have to fly the airplane back to level, just like you would in the experienced mode. So it's kind of like training wheels on a bicycle. When they're all the way down at the lowest setting so the bike can't tilt back over on either direction, that's the beginner mode. You raise those training wheels up a little bit, now the bike can tip over but stop at the training wheels. That's what the intermediate mode is. So it's a great second step before you get to that experienced mode where there's no limitations. In the experienced mode, you hold the stick all the way over to the right, the airplane's gonna roll all the way over to the right as long as you hold that stick until you stop. And then you have to keep it back to level. So that it makes it a lot more complex, a bit harder to fly, but also a heck of a lot more capable. That's where you can do the cool aerobatics like rolls, you can fly upside down, you can do knife edge flying. It's pretty amazing what you can do. And then on top of that, we have something called panic recovery. So let's say you're in the experienced mode, you're doing cool aerobatics, you're learning things, but you get panicked. You don't know what to do. There's a button on the back of the DXS that you hold down. It goes right back to level, just like it did in the beginner mode, but temporarily. When you let go, it comes back out. Now you're in the experienced mode again. Our other transmitters, you can set it up on a button, you can set it up on a switch, but basically that panic recovery mode is an option that you can use. Or what I recommend beyond that is really just switch back to the beginner mode. If you're upside down, let's say, you flip back to beginner mode, just like the panic recovery, goes right back to level, except now it's easier because you can't still then over control. If you do panic mode and experienced, when the panic mode turns off, you're back in experienced mode, you might get right back into trouble again. So again, even though panic recovery is there, I do strongly recommend just switch back to the beginner mode. That does make it a lot easier to fly. So lots of great stuff on this airplane. We also have a new option set of decals for it. So you see it comes out of the box with these orange and gray decals. We do have a new blue and black decal set. You can apply those over top of these. It takes a little bit of effort, but you can make it look really good. And then you have a nice different looking version of the AeroScout compared to all the other guys that have this standard kind of orange and gray scheme. Some guys will peel the stickers off to put the new ones on. Some guys peel these stickers off and paint the airplane. There's all kinds of things you can do to personalize and customize it. Again, you also have the option to install those floats as well, which is a really, really nice touch. So this again is an airplane that you can learn to fly with, advance your skills with, put floats on it to fly from the water, change the decals, race it with friends, do aerobatics. It's really, truly, in my opinion, probably the best airplane you can start with and have in your hangar almost for your entire flying career. And don't take my word for it. Be sure to check out the reviews on it. People absolutely love this product, love this airplane for a lot of reasons. That's why it's been around for 7 years. It's been a bestseller since we first introduced it. Now, one of the things that I will say people don't like about it is the looks. And a part of the reason it looks the way that it does is because it has what we call a pusher power configuration. The reason for that is you now have the motor and the propeller behind the wing pushing the airplane through the air. That's why the nose looks the way that it does. The benefit of that is you don't have a propeller and a motor out in the front, so if you crash or you ever have a bad landing, you don't break the propeller, you don't break the motor, you don't break the motor mount. That's nice. The downside is it ends up with this kind of, strange looking nose. But at the same time, it's durable. So if you do crash on the nose like this, again, we've reinforced it considerably, so it's a lot stronger than it used to be. Usually you just crinkle the nose, maybe you split it open. It's very, very easy to repair this. The nice thing is this particular model is built with a special kind of foam. It is not styrofoam. And some people may hear the word foam and immediately say, oh, I don't like that it's foam. The truth is that foam aircraft are by far some of the easiest to maintain, easiest to repair, and most durable. When I started in the hobby more than 30 years ago, very, very few foam airplanes existed. No foam airplanes existed in this particular material. This is EPO foam. It's a special type of foam that's a lot stronger, stiffer, more pliable, and more durable than styrofoam or EPS foam that a lot of us are kind of used to, a foam coffee cup or a foam plate. This is a lot stronger than that. The other benefit of this foam is that you can actually use pretty much any glue to fix it. You can use super glue, you can use epoxy, You can use foam safe glue or not foam safe glue. You don't have to worry about that. It's very, very easy to repair with typical glues and tapes. We'll link to a video down below that has some repairs for a previous version of this, talk about all the glues that work and all the methods that work and tape and things like that. But then on top of that, the benefit of this product being a hobby quality product, as we call it, from Horizon Hobby and our HobbyZone brand, we have a full line of replacement parts available for it. So you damage the wing, you can buy a new wing. You damage the tail, buy a new tail. If by some unfortunate chance you break a prop, it's pretty hard to do. I haven't done it on any of mine just yet, but if you do, we sell that separately. We have the landing gear separately. There's a lot of options for that. And a real quick note on the landing gear, you'll see that we have what we call a tricycle landing gear configuration. This tends to handle much easier, especially on a hard surface, than a tail dragger configuration. So for many people, they really prefer this tricycle landing gear because it does steer a lot easier. It's a lot easier for takeoffs and landings. We also put oversized tires on it, so that way you can take off and land in grass, even in gravel, on some rocky surfaces, and definitely on smooth paved surfaces. So it's very, very versatile on that. At the same time, you can actually remove the landing gear if you want and hand launch it. So you hand launch it, and especially if you're flying over grass, you can then belly land it. With the landing gear removed, it does fly a little faster. It has a little bit better vertical, a little bit longer flight time. It's a little bit more capable. It looks cool. But at the same time, I will say that I really, really love being able to do touch and goes and practice my takeoffs and landings with this airplane. And that's probably one of the best and most important pieces of advice that I can give you. When you're learning how to fly, don't just take off and land one time per flight. Once you get comfortable flying around in the air, the best thing that you can do is to practice your takeoffs and landings. I will go out sometimes for an entire battery and just do touch and goes, takeoffs and landings, because that allows me to get a very good feel for the airplane. I try to land it crosswind. I try to land it, on the mains first, keep the nose up as long as I can. I try different variations of landings, so I'm very comfortable taking off and landing this airplane because it does make a difference for this one, but also improves my skills in addition then for the next airplane as well. So some really, really good stuff. There's, again, the airplane is just completely all around just very, very good in many, many ways. It's a great trainer, a great stepping stone to other products. And again, for experienced pilot like me, it's a plane that I can't really live without. I hate to say that, but I don't think I'll ever be without one of these now because it is such a phenomenal aircraft. So if you're interested in learning how to fly RC airplanes, again, there's really no better choice than this HobbyZone AeroScout S 1.1 meter, a phenomenal aircraft in so many ways. If you'd like to learn more, be sure to check out your local hobby shop. Check out our website, horizonhobby.com. We'll put a link to this airplane and a lot of the things we talked about below. Also, be sure to check out the other videos that we have on this, including pre-flight checklist. We have our first flights, our more advanced flights, our post-flight checklist. We also will have that video that shows you how to repair it. All the information that you need to hopefully be successful learning to fly RC with what I think is, again, one of the best trainers that there has ever been. Thank you for watching.